Hello everybody and welcome to Creative Girl Vintage. I'm Tammy and today we are going to be making this sweet little springtime. I'm kind of in the springtime mood right now, so I wanted to do a video with a little springtime vibe. I think we can all use a little sunshine in our day, right? So we're going to be making this little vintage assemblage, and I pulled out some vintage things from around my craft room. I've got these little paper mache cones for crafting supplies, a stack of vintage doilies, and we're going to put one of these together. I realize everyone does not have a stack of vintage doilies, so we're going to make actually our own little doily today, and no sewing machine or crochet hook required. Okay, so also I'm going to show you how to make this little tiny pastel paper shred in here for these little cones. It's really sweet. It's cute for little Easter baskets too. Super easy to do. So I know I promised my next video was going to be a paper doll video, and I have to say that things just weren't working out with that, but as I'm crafting and my hands are moving, my mouth is going to be moving too, and I'm going to tell you all about that. So let's get started on this adorable project. Okay, as always, the crafting supplies I'm using today, I will link in the description box below this video. All right, so I've got this is from a piece of like sheet music, so it's a nice, big, generous piece. And I'm gonna want to use like that, I think, for the front. So I'm gonna take my cone. This is a 4-inch paper mache cone. I got this at Hobby Lobby around Christmas time. I know they don't have them online. I'm not sure if they would still have these in the store, but I did find a website that had these, so I linked that for you below. All right, so what I'm going to do here is basically, I just want to keep the tip of my cone right in the corner of that paper. And I'm going to take a pencil, and just as I'm rolling my cone, I'm just going to make myself a little line here to follow, to cut out. Doing it slow, just making sure. I know my arm's probably in the way, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm leaving that point of that cone right in the corner there. Okay. And finish it up like so. All right. And we're going to cut this out. Obviously, if you're using like a really large size cone, you know, you're going to need a bigger piece of paper, you know, a bigger piece of like craft booking paper would be great. Those big 12 by 12 sheets would probably work good. So you kind of end up with something like this. That is a good piece to be used on something else. This one here is actually made from a scrap of fabric. Isn't that pretty? So what I did here was the exact same thing. I laid my fabric out pretty side down and took my cone and measured it out and did the exact same thing. All right, so let's get out some Fabrifix here. And I'm just gonna, here, hold on. I'm gonna protect my work surface first. I always forget about that. Okay, let's just glue this paper up real nice here, all over. Take our cone, layer down. I'm going to put the point right there, so I'm going to try to stay right on that. Take my paper and slide it on that side, and hopefully just roll it around to this side. I feel like I'm going to have a little bit of a gap there at the bottom. But, you know, with all the decoration we're putting on it, I don't think it's going to matter. Otherwise, get laid on here really pretty. So that's how I covered the cone. Just optional if that's something that you want to do, but it does kind of peek out here. So, I mean, you could even take just a little bit of of book page and just glue it onto the top too, and not really have to worry about what's on the bottom. But this bottom here will be covered up. So now let's make our own doily. All right, let's get started on our doily. So I took a paper plate, and it was a 7-inch paper plate, and I traced it out on a piece of cardstock and cut it out for my pattern. This is a vintage doily that was about the same size, and if I was using the vintage doily, I would stick this cone right in the center, and that's how I would bring that up like that. But we're going to do that with our own right now, but I thought that was a good size. Depending on the size of your cone, you know, you might have a whole different size. You can adjust that, of course. This is a piece of lace from the craft store. And let's just lay that out there. We're going to lay our pattern on here, pin it on, and then cut it out. Okay, so those of you who follow my channel know that I have just recently did a gigantic reorganization project in my craft room. Everything was a complete makeover. And I think what comes with that is like a little bit of fallout afterwards. And I think that's probably true in any type of, you know, huge organizational project, you know, your kitchen, whatever room you're doing. So, so what happened is I was starting my paper doll project, and I just felt like several times that I needed to send a search party out to help me find stuff. It's like everything's beautiful, everything looks great, but my old craft room, you know, it was definitely jammed full of stuff. There was a lot of chaos, but it was kind of organized chaos. And no matter what I wanted, I was just so used to it. I walked right to it. I knew where everything was. And so I'm kind of dealing with trying to, I just like, I'm looking for something, and it happened with the paper dolls, and I'm just staring into space, wondering, asking myself, where did I put that, you know? So I'm trying to get my mojo back with my craft room, and that's why this project, I just felt like, okay, I was pulling things out for it, organizing and tweaking as I was going, just to remember where things were, and it was helpful. And I know I'm going to get there. I'm grateful for my new space. Believe me, it's beautiful and stunning. And I wouldn't go back to my organized chaos, but I'm hoping pretty soon that I'm going to, you know, just like I want something, I'm just going to walk straight to it. Okay, so I have my little circle here, and I've just got a scrap of lace. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take and we're going to glue our little lace around the edge of our flat lace here. So you can do this, you can do a couple of things. You can Fabrifix or you can hot glue. I'm going to start this with a few little dots of hot glue, and if you'll notice, I'm using a piece of wax paper underneath here because otherwise everything will be glued to your table. All right, regardless what you're using, because, you know, obviously this lace has a lot of holes. If you use the Fabrifix, it takes a little while to dry, so just keep that in mind. The hot glue, of course, is a little instant gratification on that for drying time. And if you're going to use the hot glue, just do, you know, a few inches at a time. Push this on. I kind of let it cool for just a moment, and then just kind of lift it so it's not really stuck on that wax paper when you get finished. So a couple inches here. I'm going to go around. Let's give it just a moment to dry and lift. I'm going to finish going all the way around this with my hot glue, and then we'll put it on our cone. All right, here it is. I finished gluing the trim on, pulling the sticky glue off my fingers. Excuse my hands, by the way. After that craft room project, my nails, my hands, I just got all beat up doing that. It was a lot of physical labor. So what I'm going to do here is take my cone. I'm going to put a nice little dollop of glue on the bottom. Find my center, close to it anyway. That's just to kind of hold it in place so it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, And then we flip it over. I want to thank my friend Mary. She inspired really this project too, because everything she does, and when she gives people gifts, she wraps them in old doilies and vintage doilies. It's like the cutest thing ever. So it inspired me. All kinds of things inspire me, and that definitely, I was like, you know, that sounds like a fun little project. I'm taking my glue gun and I'm putting just a little dot here or there just to hold this in place, because it will want to just completely slide down. All right. Then I've got a little piece of ribbon here. Found kind of pale blue. It's pretty. And I'm just going to tie this on to the cone. And get it where you want it. Since I don't have another hand here, I'm going to use my glue as pretend it's a thumb. Okay. One more. A little. Okay, get over there. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Okay. Now, at this point, I give it a little tug or two. Kind of position it where you want it. All right. Doesn't that look pretty? Let's put a little hanger on it, so you have a lot of options, of course. I'm going to use the blue ribbon that we just used and kind of line it up, eyeball it, so it looks like, you know, your ribbon's going to hang where you see the front of the cone. Okay, kind of see how long I want to make that. And try to get as straight across as I can. Okay, lay that on the glue. And you'll know I'm not burning myself. You guys may think I'm burning myself, but I'm not. Oh, I twisted that. Let me twist that back that way. This hot glue, I love it. This glue gun, I love. It has a precision tip on it. And if you give the glue just a moment, you can definitely put your fingers in it. Okay, so now we have our little homemade doily and a little hanger on our cone. So now let's make some paper shred to go inside, and let's fill it up with something vintagey. All right, you guys, we're just going to use some simple party streamer here. This one is a beautiful pale pink. This is always easy to get. When I'm at the party store, I always look at the party streamers, the colors that they have, because sometimes you can be surprised at how pretty some of the colors are. I'm taking this and I'm folding it. Just folding it up like so. And then taking my scissors, I'm just going to make some little thin little cuts. Just little slices. I used a piece that was maybe, I don't know, probably about 15 inches long, something like that. Okay, you can make as much of this as you need. Like I said, this is real pretty in little tiny Easter baskets that you make out of those peat pots. I might have to make one of those. Okay, that one's a little wide. We're gonna reject him. And look, you have some beautiful, beautiful handmade paper shred there. Okay, so let's finish this guy up. I'm actually, I was thinking about inking this up around the sides, but then I had a scrap of lace left over here. So how about, like, here's the pretty side sticking up. We could go around with the scrap of lace. Thought that would be pretty. Let's just grab in the hot glue again and going around the top. That's cute. Kind of finishes off that rough edge a little bit. Yeah, so never fear. Those paper dolls are coming, you guys. I'm not giving up on it. I have this thing. I am able to just walk away from something, and it's amazing when you, I know some of you probably really know what I'm talking about here. When you come back to it and bring it out again, you see it with fresh eyes, and it really, and it works. Okay, I've got a little bit of this Excelsior, this natural, and I'm going to pop that down inside, almost a little bit nest-like, with just a little bit of glue. I'm just going to keep it right in place there. And I poked a little hole in because, how about this guy? Isn't he the cutest? Oh my gosh. And you know, I find this stuff at the flea market, sometimes one piece at a time. It's not like I go and get a complete bunny collection. Trust me. It's one piece at a time, $1 at a time. Okay, let's just hold him in there so he stays put. Okay, I've got a couple little vintage buttons here, and I thought that would look kind of sweet, like the little buttons are holding the little ribbon hanger on. There we go. And also I had, oops, stuck to me, okay, a little pink flower applique that I thought was cute, and I'm going to pop that right here in the center of that ribbon. And then let's get some of this beautiful paper shred that we made, and I'm just going to hit that with just a little bit of glue, just so it's going to hold it on back there. And let's see, let me grab something to kind of push it down in there. You know, he probably could have used, hang on a second. Okay, I had to go run and find my little box with all my little vintage flowers in it. I'm proud to say I knew exactly where it was. So that, hey, I'm making progress here, you guys. So I found these little tiny vintage velvet blue forget-me-nots, which tucking them in right here just seemed to finish this right off. It's like the little bunny is holding his little forget-me-nots. So let's look at all three of these guys here. Three little springtime bunny little nosegays, little cones, and these would hang anywhere and just be so sweet. I'm going to put the three of them in my Etsy shop. If anybody wants to give them a good home, I'm sure they'll be happy. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this crafting inspiration for today. I'll be back with another creative project, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.